Esteemed Administrator, you have been sent here to the desert oasis of Liangzhou on our western frontier. It was many hundreds of years ago that a great wall was built here of rammed earth. The ravages of time have taken their inevitable toll, however, and that ancient wall is so heavily eroded that it no longer casts a shadow. The barbarians it was intended to stop now laugh as they ride their mounts over its tumble-down heaps. Your primary task is to refurbish this decrepit barrier by erecting a new one in its place. The wall you build should be surfaced in durable stone so that it will better withstand erosion. However, your city should also act as a conduit for trade along the Silk Road. The soil here is dry and devoid of nutrients, and the weather is harsh and unpredictable. Ensure that sufficient amounts of food are stockpiled for those lean years, when the clouds are few and the rain is scarce. Finally, as you are aware, our dispute with the distant kingdom of Kogiro continues. If the campaigning in that region should resume, do not be surprised if Emperor Yang has a sudden need for fresh troops.
G'day mates and welcome back to Emperor. Looks like today we're heading out to do another monument wall building mission, except this time it's going to be a stone great wall. Now I don't recall, I think we've been out to Liangzhou before. That name seems familiar, although at this point they're all starting to meld together in my memory, so it's a little bit difficult to keep track of them all. But I think we've been out here before, and it's a desert one if I recall correctly, although they may have said that here somewhere. Either way, it looks like I'm going to be doing a bit of a trading thing as well, and yeah, dry, devoid of nutrients, so it's a desert one for sure. And we may be having the drought disaster popping up occasionally by the looks of things, as well as a little bit of a military mission. So not much income, I'm guessing, not much farming, a great wall to build, and yeah, not going to be a good one. Let's go into the city and have a look what we've got available. What do we have available? That's interesting. So they've sort of simulated the fact that the wall used to be here, and apparently they've built it up on the sides. So they're simulating the fact that the wall used to be here, and this is what we're rebuilding, which is kind of cool actually. That's a good way of doing it. There is a shit ton of salt down here as well as up here. We've got more salt than we're ever going to need. It's probably going to be a major Goatby Bears. It's probably going to be a major trade good. A second, I turn the volume down. It's a little loud on my end. I'll take care of all that in post-production for you guys, but it is a bit distracting on my end. Hunter's tent, and so we've got 3 food types. One of them hunting. I don't know what we hunt. I'm assuming it's antelope or something. I don't think you'd be eating bears as a regular thing. There appears to be copper, so we can build a mint. I can't build a palace, so it looks like we're only going to have a single fort, which is a bit shit. We've got some stone down here. That is our antelope, our food source. I don't think we'll be eating vultures or bears, so it's going to be the antelope only. So probably keep the food on this side rather than up here. Let's have a quick look what other resources we've got. We've got clay, but it's also difficult to get from here. We have stoneworks, no timber cutting, because we're in the desert. And a kiln with a jade carver's studio and salt mines. So not a huge amount of resources available, but I suppose we can work with that. Carving jade, making pottery, actually the only 2 things we can do. So it's going to be a bit of a shit map. Let's have a quick look what's available. We've got Kashgar, which will buy silk. We may be able to do a bit of a silk trading trick, although I do need to be very, very careful because the price they will initially accept will not remain like that. Jade, they'll sell me jade, so somebody will buy carved jade. Can't grow tea, they'll buy a tiny bit of salt, and I don't trade with anybody else just yet. Whew, it's going to be a challenging mission, I think. There was no population requirement, so I just need to get whatever I can organise, and I need an additional 4 traders. Okay, well I'm going to play around this a little bit, try and get something set up. Double check what gods we've got. Guan Yin, Guan Di. Yeah, there's a few of them. So 2 gods we need to continually tribute. Yeah, I'm going to see how we go. Okay guys, the city is nicely set up. I've gone for standard block designs this time. I'm trying to keep a nice compact little centre here, but I'm trying to liven them up and sort of saturate them. They're sort of a little bit packed in with people, but hopefully having a nice Tai Chi park, which is unfortunately non-harmonious, but having a nice Tai Chi park mixed in with the houses and this little sort of garden promenade area will be quite nice. As well as over here we've got a, near the admin city, we've got a nice big sort of entrance garden walkway thing using Imperial Way, which I thought was quite nice. Either way, people are coming on in. We have sent out the requests to all the little... What the hell are they doing? Okay, so the rest of them are heading out. Looks like my emissary to Sabi has teleported up here into the Russian steppes a little bit, or Eastern Russia, and he's then going to loop round to Sabi. Looks like a bit of a display glitch there. But either way, things are looking pretty good. We're going to start moving on to food in the very near future. Now, I haven't placed anything down because we almost invariably missed the first year. So I'm going to be doing a lot of hunting down here around this part of the block. 100 people, thank you. Do a lot of hunting down here, get all this stuff tapped out quite nicely, and then all the farming up here, and that should take care of everything. But of course, now the trade agreements are coming through. So Liangzhou has rejected, Chengdu has opened up, Yen has rejected, Yangzhou has rejected, Changzhou has opened up. Brilliant. Lars is down, Chang'an's open. So we should have... There we go, we're going to have 5 trading partners already. This could be a simple mission. It probably won't be though. They will buy silk, wheat and millet. Probably will never ever open up. They haven't been particularly happy with us, but I might be able to bribe them off if we can grow something there. That's us, of course. You will buy carved jade. Okay, there you go. It's our first thing there is Kashgar. 12 jade to Liangzhou. An unknown amount. So... Is anyone else actually open that will buy carved jade? Salt, they'll buy salt, which is really good. I think I'm going to have to start on that immediately because we're going to need the cash. Salt will also be a good food type to bump us up. I may not even need to rely on hunting at all. I think I'll just stick with salt. That could be the way to do it. Carved jade. Nothing else I can really do here. Although they'll sell me stone later if required. Actually... Paper, I think I'm going to need to actually import paper. I can't make paper, so there's no point importing timber. But they will sell me weapons, which would be handy, as well as a little bit of extra food, if required. So there's a few people who buy carved jade. So far, I've only seen Kashgar who sells jade, but there may be a way around that. If I can say... pump out a heap of ceramics or something like that. What I might be able to do is to use... Which god is it? I think it's... Nope. I think it might be... There we go. Jiwang Mu. I could probably use her to bless Jade Carver's Studios, which will fill them with raw jade. So I can use her and essentially convert some other good into keeping her around in the city, which will effectively convert it into jade, which I can then sell because there are more buyers for carved jade. So that may be an option for me of cash. I'll have to think about that one as we go along, but I'm going to need to work on probably my military early because they did mention that Sabi was going to be aggressive, and I suspect Larsa, being displeased, will need a military to keep them back. So income and military are going to be the way to go. Okay, Chang'an has become an ally. That's interesting. Sabi's rejected. That's fine. Let's have a quick look at Sabi first of all. Give me food, and they will buy food and tea. Not particularly handy. But Chang'an, which is the capital, I believe, is now helpful as an ally. They also buy carved jade, and they will sell me some silken weapons. Silk can probably be bartered off to Kashgar. So I think I might even start with them early on, keep them on side. And then just go back and forth between buying silk from these guys and selling them carved jade, selling silk to Kashgar and buying jade. So I think Chang'an and Kashgar will be a nice little synergy. They'll be able to throw down somewhere down here near the salt as well, I think. Either way, I've got the hunter's tents set up in here. Again, they don't require, somebody asked about this in the comments, they don't require an inspector's towel to pass them, but I do put that down there simply because they need water. I do put them down there simply because it looks good. They're in a good location. Let's get you some safety. I need water to get a high population. So I could have put them down here, but I like the look of keeping them all central. I will move them around if I need this space for something later. But a nice, tight, compact city should look good. Now, it looks like these guys are beginning to level up which effectively doubles the amount of population they can hold. Yeah, 7 up to 14. So it does double the population they can hold by providing water. Now, next step is going to be to, I think, get... This may not be enough food is the only problem, because there are a lot of houses here. I could probably feed one block off this amount of food, but I'm going to need a second food type shortly. So I think I'm going to go into farming and hemp next before I move on to the cash, because I should have... Actually, how much employment do I have? You level up. I've forgotten my numbers. I haven't played this for a couple of weeks. I've been interstate doing some study for the last week or two, so the big backlog of stuff has been recorded a long time ago. Just got to try and get myself back into the game, and I can't remember the numbers for employment, but I think we'll go into farming first. We're not going to be in such a huge rush that they're going to destroy me that quickly. I can move on to cash in a later date once I've got the food sorted. Okay, looks like the administrative city has just collapsed. I have no idea why that happened. I have no idea what just happened here. That has set me back a lot of cash. We've lost our Taoist shrine, our watchtower, an ancestral shrine, an administrative city, and an acupuncturist clinic, because this guy doesn't appear to have patrolled in the right directions. What I'm going to do is clear this stuff back and throw down a shit ton of gardens in an effort to try to level the fella up. Yeah, so now hopefully he'll start patrolling properly. For whatever happened, we should have enough workers. Safety is at maximum, although it's considerably lower now because we've lost some of the safety buildings. I got no idea what just happened there. No clue at all. Oh well, let's see if I can rebuild. I'm going to need some cash sooner rather than later. Okay, a little bit of food is beginning to stockpile up from the hunted meat, so I've thrown down our first food shop, which will begin to level these guys up. Over here, it doesn't seem to be working very well. They require water to evolve, so I may have made this block slightly too long. I may have miscounted or something. It should be going right around. Let's just double check they have sufficient workers. They're not spawning anywhere. I don't think they're spawning into the center here. So they should be walking right around. Aha, I see what's happening. So this is an interesting little conundrum here. What's going on is the water carrier is spawning out here and walking around. Now he's supposed to go around the block. He goes more than halfway typically, and then the shortest route back is to actually continue around the block and go back here. With this little connection through here, I just saw him do a bit of troubleshooting. Please, cat, don't step on the power button to my computer. Okay, let's leave that one in. I might have to edit that one out, but who knows. Either one, no, don't do it, cat. There we go. Okay, as I was saying, this little area here is creating a shortcut for him to get up back there. So by bulldozing this one here, what I'm hopefully doing is meaning that he'll have to continue around and he'll supply these people down here with water. I will check back shortly to make sure that works, but if it doesn't, then I will have bigger problems to deal with. And it looks like it has worked immediately. So these ones here, they don't actually allow people to go through them. They are all blocked. But what was happening is he can continue to go through because he changes from just a roaming walker to a destination walker when he eventually decides to return home. Just like these guys here, and any getting warehouses. So something to keep in mind. We'll need to be more careful of that in future. Either way, we've troubleshooted and fixed that. Let's move onwards. Okay, foreign emissary has arrived as we're having some fires raging in the background. Let's have a quick look. It's a gift of tea. I will actually accept tea. It's from Chang'an, so let's bring in a little bit of it. I'll accept a small amount of tea into this main warehouse here. Now, I can't see exactly what's causing this. I think we've got sufficient workers, so I'm not sure what's causing this. The block is the correct length as far as I know, but we may be having that same problem with this walker. So what I'm going to do is throw another watchtower down here. These blocks should be the correct length, if I recall correctly, but we'll level them up anyway and see if we can get everything back under control. I don't know what's causing these fires, but it's only in that block, not this one, and they are an identical length to each other. Perhaps what's happening is that the chance is just a little bit higher, and because we're in the desert. Okay, I'm having some major issues with walkers here. This dude here is patrolling. He is now patrolling on a closed loop that is very, very small, and yet this building has just collapsed. I can't explain what's going on with the walkers here. They've got employment. Here's employment. They've got full access. I don't know what's going on, but something unexpected is occurring. Perhaps that could be just a random event. I don't know. But if anyone can explain this in the comments, by all means, let me know. I would love to figure out what's going on. In other news though, I have set down this little area here. I was going to explain it when all those fires started up. So I'm importing a very small amount of silk, which is burning through my cache quite quickly, but also selling carved jade. Now I'm importing carved jade from these guys, still at 95. Super Sajik did mention that this can sometimes change if you're selling off at too high a price. So I'm only selling at 290, although they will accept up a higher amount. I'm going to try to avoid this price going above 95. But either way, we're buying in a small amount of silk and selling it off at a higher price, making 225, 65 strings of cash profit each time, which is very small, but we may as well be doing it because it costs us nothing to actually have set up. And of course the jade coming in, once I get the Jade Carver Studios set up, we'll be in a nice strong position. Okay, even more and more of them are collapsing. I can't explain what's going on. An inspector's tower prevents collapses to my understanding. There appears to be road all the way around this. I'm going to throw down another inspector's tower just over here. Again, not sure what's causing it, but it's beginning to cost me quite a lot of money, and it is pushing things towards a more dangerous situation when we were quite comfortable before. Either way, hopefully, touching the road, everything should work. You've got that, you're an inspector. There appear to be two of them on top of each other. And I'll be honest, I can't explain what's going on here, but things appear to be stabilized for the time being. Okay, with everything now under control, cash is reasonably stable. We're selling off the various goods and begun exporting a small amount of salt now that this marketplace, the mill, sorry, has filled up. I've thrown down our fort and we're just bringing in just 2 weapons at a time. So just trickling them in slowly as we can afford them. They're only 120 each, so I can actually probably jump that up to 4. That's not a huge amount of cash. It's not going to break the bank by any stretch of the imagination. And that'll allow us to get some infantry staffed up. Now we can only have the 1 fort. We have no palace, and it is unlikely we're going to get much elite housing down, given how tight things are. But things are ticking along nicely. I'm going to do monitor. Oh shit, our unemployment is very high. I'm going to have to start absorbing that, and I think that's going to be done via a cash making initiative. So let's have a quick look what we can do here. They'll buy more salt, so I could probably throw down a large number of salt mines here, and that actually may be worthwhile. What I'll do, Chengdu, what do they sell me? They sell me paper, more weapons, lacquer could be handy, although I'd have to import the wood as well. So they'll buy a shit ton of salt and they'll sell me paper. I can do that to actually tax my people. Now I've got the tax officers down, and I thought I had one down here somewhere. I guess I haven't placed one in this block. I'll put you there. So we have some tax officers down. It'll be worthwhile throwing down the... who was that person to? One of the trading people. Looks like Chengdu. Yeah, they're the ones to go for. So throw down Chengdu and that'll allow us to expand a little bit further with a bit more cash. And there we go, unemployment nicely under control, and we've got ourselves some stone, what do they call them? Stonemasons, stoneworks are now chipping away, getting all the stone we need. They can bring that back, work on this, and we can begin constructing the Great Wall. Considering that will be the limiting factor for how long this mission takes, anything else I do really is just window dressing at this point. Income's beginning to look good. Let's check our tax at this point. Income is actually too low. That's a bit of a problem. But 1,000, nearly 1,000 tax we can get per year, and once I begin to level these guys up, we'll be in a much better position. Okay, interesting. Chang'an will now buy more carved jade. The interesting thing here, though, is that they won't sell us any more jade, so I'm going to need to use Jiwang Mu, which is this lady here, and she's Taoist. Am I not Taoist? Do I not have a Taoist shrine? Do they not count? I'm sure they've worked before. So why can I not give her any kind of tribute. Interesting, interesting. I'm not sure exactly what's going on with this game. Or perhaps Taoist people also require nobles to be in the city. I'm not sure. Or perhaps they require them to be leveled up to a certain amount where the Taoist shrine is actually contributing. Either way, I'm not sure what's going on, but I have got some ceramics being set up here. Of course, in the back end, of course, the stone Great Wall is gradually being worked on, although not particularly fast. We have a small worker shortage, but things are looking pretty good. I've expanded our hemp farms because we are running low on that as well, mainly due to the low fertility in this area. Like we've got some bits here that are 32% fertile, down here is 10% fertile on the wheat. So I will need to tap this area up here if we continue to expand as we have been. But either way, things are looking good. Cash is very, very low, but as I'm beginning to sell this off, let's actually keep the amount of silk that will stockpile at a very low level as well. That has probably been eating into my cash, having such a large stockpile here. And we've had a drought. Hopefully it doesn't hit the hemp. It did hit the hemp. That has completely screwed us up because we have no hemp at all and we're about to run out. This is really, really bad. So, who will sell me hemp? That was the worst timing I could imagine. They were just about to harvest the hemp. Looks like nobody I can see will sell me hemp. That's probably fucked me up quite badly. Let's have a look who I can buy hemp from, because I'm going to need it for... I'm going to need it very, very shortly because we're so low. Let me think about this. Nobody sells me hemp that I'm seeing unless I'm overlooking it. Nope. So we're quite badly screwed for this year. We may well have a collapse in the near future. This place has no supply of hemp. They've had none for a while. And these houses have a very low amount. Let's check our gods here. You... acupuncturist and add ceramics. That's of no use to me. You're a diviner walker, musician inspector, and you do very little for me. And these guys I cannot seem to get for some reason. So we're in a bit of a pickle here, a bit of a bind. I'm not sure how we're going to get out of this. We may just need to ride it out as quickly as possible and shut down our industry as required. So I'm going to make monuments very low priority and industry low to absorb the unemployment crash when it happens. We seem to be getting a small amount of hemp, so hopefully that will tide us over. Okay, the city is going well. Hemp is now being regrown. We're very low on food simply because of that drought last year. Lhasa is demanding tea. That's a bit of a problem. We're going to need to bring that in now. Import tea. I think 12 should be sufficient. I'll just stockpile up on that. So it's very cheap and I can keep as much as I need in. And that'll allow us to fulfill that request shortly. Wait, hang on. No, don't sell tea. Stop selling that. Okay, now we should have enough tea in. I can send it off to Lhasa immediately. Wait, 2 in storage. What does that even mean? Okay, they're all just being moved back and forth. I'm going to need to throw down. You up here are going to have to get tea. Just get up to 32 and we'll get rid of that. Nope, that's not going to work actually. Give me a second, I'm going to sort all this logistics in the back end. Okay, ready to send off to Lhasa. We'll send off all the tea and I'm going to continue stockpiling it. But I'm only going to bring up to, let's go 12 here and another sort of 12 in here. That should be more than enough tea. Tea's quite cheap, so it's not going to be an issue. What I can probably do now though is... You know, it's actually going to be worthwhile me selling this. How high will they pay? I'll go as high as double the price by the looks of things. Let's go to 100, which is profit of, I believe, 45. We'll sell off that tea, and we will continue importing, I guess, 12 a year. That'll keep going. We can just accept any here. If there's any excess storage, and... I'm not going to... Yeah, I may as well import tea from you as well. So we're importing tea from 2 locations and selling it off in the same way as we're selling off the silk. That'll hopefully give us a little bit extra cash to work with. And as we continue to tax our population, things will be very, very nice. Festival at Chang'an, 2 months to comply for 13 canisters of salt. Luckily, we've got a huge amount in stockpile, so we can get rid of that immediately. But that has set back quite a lot of our income, so... We should be able to keep going though. The real issue now though is food. We're sort of struggling to survive here from harvest to harvest. So if something goes wrong we're going to have some major problems. So at this point, I'm going to consider looking at importing some food from someone. I could bring in spices from someone, but that's only going to give us flavor, not bulk. And at the moment, we've got more than enough flavoring, we just need more bulk. So looks like a couple of additional farms are going to be required, and I think I can set them up quite comfortably over here. And there we go, Chang'an is now attacking Sabi. We're going to have to dispatch our troops off. Weakness and defense, blah blah blah. Okay, we'll dispatch our troops off. We've only got the one set of people, so hopefully that gets us a victory. If Sabi doesn't fall, then or if our troops are completely wiped out, then we may have a problem because we're currently completely undefended. Lhasa over here could attack us if they were so inclined, so we do need to be very, very careful. Food is incredibly low, although we've got a little bit of millet in, and you're kidding me, is that the entire millet season? We could be quite badly fucked here. Things are going reasonably well, but we are living farm harvest to farm harvest. Price increase for silk could be interesting, but again, it's never done anything that I've seen. So we'll just keep plodding along and see if we can keep out of the black. Okay, it looks like the price of jade has actually increased, so it's now 159 from 95. Does that offset the profit we're making from the other things? Not really, although it does fairly significantly eat into our carved jade profit. So I have been warned about this. This happens. I don't know what causes it. I don't know if it's just a length of time having prices too high, or if there is something else. But either way, we are making enough money here to offset the price increase there, so it's still worthwhile to do what we are doing. Especially because money is so very tight. Okay, things are ticking over nicely. I've expanding this area over here to ornate apartments. They will require tea to go any further, and it may be worthwhile for us to actually start using the tea up here to level these up shortly, although I'm not going to begin that just yet. I'm going to double check our employment is good. But importing additional rice from, what are they called? Guangzhou and Changzhou. Yeah, Guangzhou and Changzhou are now importing up to 12 rice each per year, which is not a huge amount, but it will sustain us with in between our harvests, which are a little bit measly, but are now picking up because we've got a whole range of different farms up here to keep things going. I think our food problems are probably behind us, and what we can start doing is powering on towards the end of the game. And here we go, round 2 of the wall. So it's been the base has all been laid down with with stone rather than timber, and we are packing the inside of it with dirt to act as sort of a shock absorber. Looks like food is good, so we're finally having festivals again, although that looks a little bit low. We've got 3 food types though, which is sufficient, and a couple of guys backed up. So I don't think we're going to keep needing the rice for ever. And hunting is pretty much failing at this point. The hunters have to walk all the way up here and over to these antelope as they're killing off everything that's too close. Hunting in Emperor just is pretty shitty. But either way, things are being knocked in over here. I'd love to get Jiwangmu into the city, but I think I require nobles for them to activate and register. So for the time being, I'm not going to bother. It could be that I need a Taoist temple somewhere. So that could be worthwhile to try to put one of those down. But for the time being, unemployment is stable, and I think I'm just going to plug along as we are. Okay, we failed to take down Sabi, too weak, but Chang'an is very, very happy with us. So what I'm going to do is actually request a bunch of weapons from them. We're going to, wrong one, we're going to request goods or something. Because they're so happy with us, we can use this and will allow us to offset the issues we had before. So I'm going to bring in, you can accept, actually why don't I just throw you into weapons instead. We're going to turn you off T and make you a weapons acceptor. And yet another drought. What have we lost here? We lost, looks like, all our food. Thankfully, we're still importing rice, so that should cover any issues we have. We have a large stockpile already prepared, so I'm pretty happy there. Our gods are holding on well. Let's just keep ticking along and push forwards to victory, which will be happening shortly. And our defeated warriors have returned. Let's see how many we lost. Looks like 4 of them left, so we lost most of them. I have also lost a huge amount of money. I didn't even notice until I saw this entire warehouse down here had stockpiled up a massive amount of weapons. So need to be very careful. I did burn through all my credit quite quickly. But we're selling off salt, and we are continuing to tax our people. So 0% of population I have a sneaking suspicion that I haven't been taxing my people the entire time I've been here. So I'm going to accept up to 16, and hopefully these guys will start taxing us properly and we can actually get some real money. That may explain why I've been struggling for so long. Okay, 100% of the population finally being taxed, and our cash is shooting up. We're getting a huge amount of money that we've missed, but I think finally of actually understanding this game. I've been out of practice for far too long, so hopefully things start looking up from here on out. That may explain why I've struggled so much for so long. But either way, we are still winning this mission, despite playing it fairly poorly, and we have only got a few more layers of the Great Wall to do. Let's plug onwards to victory. I feel so stupid now. The cash is pouring in. I'm able to spend it quite freely now. I thought I was taxing my people for so long, but looks like they will not deliver paper from a warehouse, from a trading post. It does need to be in a warehouse, much the same as how monuments won't have clay delivered directly. It needs to come from a warehouse. A little bit of a quirk in the game engine, but now that I'm aware of it, hopefully we can avoid this problem in future. Okay, Year of the Bunny Rabbit. Let's go for an improved production yield. Special gifts, again, my favourite to go to, but without a palace there is nothing that it's really going to give me. So we'll go for an improved production yield and see what we get. Kilns, clay pits, stoneworks, kind of useful, and millet fields, very useful, all things considered. Year of the Earth Rabbit is great for this map. What do we require? A shit ton of stone, but we've got more than enough stockpiled up. Let's power onwards to victory. And here we go. It looks like this thing is almost completely done, looking absolutely spectacular as it's snaking its way across the land here, packed with all the dirt, and we are just smashing the top on top of it, give it a bit of a floor, something to walk along. And I've always wanted to walk along the Great Wall, so hopefully I will get that sometime in the future. I have yet to travel all the way out to that part of China, but maybe I can do that sometime in the future. Either way, we're very nearly done this mission. That is the only other requirement. So we have the minimum number of trading partners, and once this Great Wall's done, we can finally wrap this horror of a mission up and put it to bed. Okay, all done. Only 10 blocks of stone, which I think is going to be for this gate that we're finally going to put on, and that'll give us a nice, solid defensive barrier. I don't know if the Great Wall actually works as a defensive barrier. I do know from when building the earthen wall in one of the earlier missions, when I was attacked, they could only funnel through the gateways here, so perhaps it does work gameplay-wise as a defensive monument as well. Chances are, though, they would just walk through the gate. Nope, we're not building the gate. It looks like we are building these big towers along it instead. They actually look kind of cool. They're only up here, one up there. So very nearly done. I assume the gate will be next up. Just been admiring this Great Wall. It's absolutely beautiful looking. Really quite a nice piece of architecture. Really good design that the guys, the developers of this game, have put into it. The shadows, the little gaps in the bricks and everything. But that is the city finished. We have a smidgen of unemployment being absorbed by all of these massive dudes up the back here. These what they're called labourers camps. And a huge amount of farmland for such a crappy map. Quite a lot of it is hemp though. We were struggling for a long time. And of course the city looking beautiful as well. Didn't get to pad this out in the end. Would have liked to have made this look quite nice. Maybe even put a couple of additional connectors in here between them. But I suppose... Actually, why don't I do that? I just realised I can't do that. Trying to delete anything will require me to unpause. And as soon as I unpause, I'll go onwards to victory. So... let's just pretend that I did beautify this area up quite nice. Would have been nice to have a little highway going through the centre here and connecting those parts of the city. Either way, let's head onwards.
Your devotion to duty is most commendable. A new, stronger stone-faced Great Wall now stands majestically where once only mounds of earth vainly attempted to hold back the barbarian hordes. However, it now appears that it is not from without that the greatest threat to our Sui dynasty arises, but rather from within. The many labor-intensive projects and the resultant high taxes have eaten away at the goodwill of the people, much as a silkworm slowly eats a mulberry leaf. Criminals run rampant in the streets of the capital. There is even talk of rebellion. The Sui dynasty, though glorious, may prove to be rather short-lived.
There we go, guys. This Sui dynasty, bit of a paper tiger in the end. They built up, they expanded too much on great works. So we built the Grand Canal, we built and expanded the Great Wall, but unfortunately the high taxes have brought an end to it. But this is a Sui Tang dynasty campaign, so it looks like the Tang will be rising up next. Anyway, guys, I've been Blxz. This has been Emperor. Make sure to smash that thumbs up button if you do indeed enjoy the content, and subscribe if you've yet to do so already, because I will have more Emperor content coming out soon, and I'm working on some other great games coming up in the near future. So take care, guys. I'll see you next time.